When the original Pebble dropped in 2013, the market for smartwatches hadn't really formed. However, today that is not the case. With Android Wear watches already on the market and Apple Watch around the corner, a basic black and white watch with barely any gizmos is a crazy prospect, right? Or is it? Before I start the review, I won't go as in-depth as some people have, as there are plenty of reviews already out there, but the question today that I want to answer is it still worth buying in the current smartwatch market? Something I'll touch on a little bit later in the review. So, starting the review off in the usual places, the sort of things you get in the box actually isn't very impressive here. You get a very basic box, and inside that very basic box is just the watch and the charging cable. It is a magnetic charging cable, which we'll go to in a minute, but talking about charging, the battery actually lasts on this watch for around 7 days, although I managed to get about 6 days out of it under full load. But I wouldn't worry if you wake up in the morning and do see that 10% warning light, you still will be able to get a good day full use out of the watch before having to charge it. However, you could opt to charge it as it charges in just 1 hour. So you could charge it as you're getting ready, and then your watch will be ready to go for the day ahead. In terms of setup, it's pretty straightforward, at least on the iOS side of things. I haven't tested Android mainly because I don't have an Android phone to test it on, but I've heard that it's pretty much the same thing. You download the app from the App Store, connect it to your phone via Bluetooth, and set up a Pebble account, and you're ready to go. My main concern before buying the Pebble was if all the features advertised would work on iOS devices, because we all know that iOS is a far more closed platform than Android, and I had heard rumors that some things didn't work. However, I was quite happy to see all my notifications did show up on the phone as normal, and only emails I had issue with to start off with, but you can download a simple app that supports the Pebble, and then you can get all your emails sent there first. However, this is where some problems did get highlighted for me. For instance, you can't control any notifications individually. You can't just say, I want this thing to go to my Pebble, I don't want this app, I don't want this and that, as you can do with Android. You basically get an all or nothing situation. You can, however, on the watch itself, say to only receive calls. However, this is not perfect by any means. For instance, Skype, I refuse to sign in on my phone now because I'm involved in a lot of group conversations, a lot of messages get poured through there, and my watch will just not stop going off. So that's a no-go for me. It's a real downer. I know it's likely to do with Apple being closed with their platform as they are. However, there probably would have been a way around it if the guys at Pebble worked with the app developers a little more closely. Okay, away from the rant a little. There is a lot of customization to be had with the watch. There are thousands of watch faces available for you to download and a selection of in-watch apps as well. Some does require a companion app, but some work without one, all depending on the particular app that you are downloading. You can basically customize it as you please. The watch face that I use on a daily basis is the one with the weather app, meaning that I can get easy weather updates on the go, especially if I'm planning to do a shoot that day. It can be really, really useful. Going back to the watch apps a little bit, there are lots of available apps for you, some more useful than others, some are just weird, but the most useful for me is actually the Evernote app. It got me into using the service more, and any notes I do about camera equipment or about shoots and things like that can immediately be available on my watch, and if I'm out shooting that day, I can get to it and read it without having to mess around, get on my phone and opening the app. So it genuinely does make life easier in that sense. Talking about easily, has this watch actually made things easier in my life? You're probably asking right now. Well, actually it has, quite surprisingly. There have been plenty of times previously where I'm busy and I miss calls, miss important texts and emails. That is a thing of the past. I feel a small vibration on my wrist and I can quickly, at a glance, have a look at what it's about, and if I need to deal with it there and then I can, or I can set up a time later on and I can just go through all my emails and clear them, any non-important emails and calls and texts and stuff, and I don't have to be concerned that I've missed something too important. So it's very, very useful. You can even take this thing in the shower if you want to. You never miss a call, you're in the bath or shower. However, you're not going to be able to answer the call in there in terms of actually speaking to the person. There is no mic on the watch, but you can actually safely accept a call while driving if you don't have a fancy car where you can press the button on the steering wheel, which I found very useful. And while I'm quickly at it, if you're out in the winter weather like I have recently, the glove issue of changing tracks on your phone, especially if you've got a smartphone, is a thing of the past. You can quickly change the tracks on the watch on the fly. You can pause the music as well and see what track is playing. Very useful, and in the winter weather is much appreciated. So if you're sitting comfortably, here is the conclusion. The Pebble may not have a heart rate monitor, it may not have a microphone, a touch screen, or even a color screen, but it doesn't stop it from being a strong device in the market. There's no doubt that the market has grown and introduced new and exciting smartwatches, but it doesn't stop the strong elements of the Pebble from being there as a competitor. They have a 1 million user base, they have ease of use on their side, and also price. So definitely worth considering getting a Pebble if a smartwatch is the next thing on your to buy list.